KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Well, that video was taken by a Camp Mystic nurse. Campgoers singing gospel hymns on their way to a reunification center after going through the unimaginable, devastating flooding in the Hill Country. So Camp Mystic, of course, as you know, hit the hardest.
We have all kinds of things. There's more than what just is in this building, and we have trailers on standby waiting to come and deliver more.
And resources continue to pour in from all over the country. Community members coming together to give back to the Hill Country, the efforts being done, and how you can be a part of that.
Well, and our team coverage continues out in the Hill Country. Right now, the latest numbers of deaths confirmed are at 90 people. And that number is likely to rise as search and rescue operations continue.
Our Patty Santos and Ernie Zuniga joining us live this morning from Ingram and Kerrville as we have our crews continuing to cover the latest on these devastating floods.
And besides the 90 combined deaths in Kerr and Kendall counties, there are at least 10 more people who have died in the flooding in other counties, including 5 in Travis County. The
search and recovery efforts continue this week, and as the sun comes out and the damages left behind from the floods are absolutely devastating.
Well, Ernie Zuniga is live in Kerrville and joins us this morning. Ernie, I know you switched locations and now you're getting ready there for that press conference.
Indeed, we were at the Hill Country Cafe earlier this morning, just talking to locals, literally on Main Street, just trying to get the pulse of Kerrville right now. Just how are people feeling? 4 or 5 days removed from all of this. And what's kind of eerie is no matter where you go, when we were at the cafe, we were about a block and a half away from the Guadalupe River. Here at the Hill Country Youth Event Center, where the press conference will take place at the top of the next hour, the river's behind us. And so you're never really too far from the devastation. And again, it's just in every direction you look. Driving over here, again, you're just struck by just the unimaginable, the loss, the damage, the devastation, how the landscape here has, as people know it, has changed forever. And so we do expect to get some more information. This is the location where we've seen over the last few days the Kerrville mayor, the city manager, the Kerr County sheriff, and then dignitaries. And at this moment, we don't know if there are any other dignitaries from the state or federal level here today. We've seen Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem. We've seen Congressman Chip Roy yesterday. Senator Ted Cruz was here. But again, no word yet on whether we'll see someone at that level once again. So we're just standing by and monitoring all of that. And still many days after the initial rain event, some dramatic scenes to continue to unfold. And that's part of the reason why I'm here instead of Patty Santos. Patty is in Ingram this morning, kind of covering some developing situations that are unfolding over there, and she is live for us. Patty, good morning.
Hey there, good morning. We are in the Blue Oak RV Park. This is an area there's been a lot of concentration yesterday and this morning. You can see some of the debris that is piled up here. Well, there's tons and tons more. Look at this. This looks to be maybe an RV that was parked there and ended up lodged next to this tree. These are the kind of images we are continuing to see, and that is why they need the heavy machinery that you're seeing behind me here, clearing some of that debris. You can see there's already piles of some of that stuff that has already been moved. And as you were mentioning, this landscape will never be the same. This used to be an RV park where people came to relax and enjoy the day, but now you can see it's like a bomb went off. So a lot of the focus is here because, as you can see, there were a lot of trees here. So a lot of the debris got stuck here, and now search and rescue crews have to move some of that debris in order to find what they need to find. Now, we got a chance to talk to the owner of the RV park here, and she says, people keep asking, how could this have happened? Well, she's lived here a long time, and she says no one could have predicted this. Take a listen.
The reality is nobody could have predicted. Not the officials, not the weather people, nobody could have predicted. We get a lot of flash floods for low water crossings. We get them all the time, and we just stay away from the low water crossings. And that's it. That's what we get.
And that mentality is probably going to change a lot as we move forward, and hopefully also the technology that is available to warn people. But back live out here, you can see some of the crews. What's happening right now is a lot of these piles are getting moved. They're getting put into some trucks and then being hauled out of here. A lot of the emergency responders that were here now were actually moving down south. As they clear this area, they continue to move down south. But this is going to take a very long time to finish clearing and searching all of this area. Reporting from Ingram, I'm Patty Santos. Back to you.
All right, Patty, thank you for that live report. And again, a lot of crews out there still working. This is day 5 of working and searching and looking out there with live cam. And the sun's out, so I guess maybe that'll help them in the process.
It will, although I will tell you it's going to get hot this afternoon, so they have to make sure they stay hydrated. They're dealing with so much humidity. There's so much obviously water in the soil, and then they've got to fight through these tree branches, and there's rebar, there's nails out there, so they've got a lot of hard work left to do. Just again, such a devastating sight to see that. All right, the visible satellite right now shows we got quite a bit of cloud cover over San Antonio and really throughout the area with some breaks, the sun shining through here and there. There isn't a lot of shower activity, although we are seeing a couple of very light showers just east of San Antonio. So what does our forecast look like today? Well, we're going to start off in the 70s, actually 80s now, 81 in San Antonio, but it feels like 86. And again, heat indexes very much can be an issue today. But we will see a chance for rain too. 30% as we head into the afternoon. Think yesterday how that kind of played out with those storms popping up, say around 3, 4 o'clock. I think we'll see a similar setup today. And if you do get caught underneath one of those heavier downpours, we're talking about a ½ an inch, maybe up to 3/4 of an inch. And if, in some isolated spots, if it's a really heavy downpour, maybe up to an inch. But the good news here is a lot of this begins to die down once the sun goes down. So we're not looking for a lot of flooding today. Coming up, we'll talk about what we can expect tomorrow. There are more rain chances there. We'll also discuss the aquifer, why those numbers aren't going up as fast, and watches and warnings too, the difference between the two. That's all coming up here in just a little while, guys.
Okay, Justin, thank you very much. A quick check of your traffic authority right now, taking a look at some of our TransGuide traffic cameras. And that one spot there, 410 at Old Pearsall Road, there are reports of a crash on the northbound lanes of 410 over by Ray Ellison and Medina Base Road. So that's going to be for all of our folks that are headed up from 35 to 90 along 410, but that is going to be the biggest thing that we're seeing at the moment as we give you a look here at 281 and St. Mary's. Just again, be careful if you are about to head out on the southwest side, 410 north at Medina Base Road.
Well, it has been an unimaginable loss, and for many, the images and stories may be starting to take a toll, especially on children. And that's why the Children's Bereavement Center of South Texas is holding healing circles for the community. That's
right. Our Erica Hernandez spoke to one of their counselors about how to talk to kids about tragedies like this and why it's just as important for adults to take care of themselves also.
I feel like right now, what we are all experiencing is a collective traumatic shock.
Adriana McKinnon is the Chief Program Officer and a licensed counselor at the Children's Bereavement Center of South Texas. She says the last few days have been emotionally draining for many, and images of devastation and the flooding can be difficult for children to see, a lot of them for the first time.
Sometimes children experience physiological, emotional, behavioral issues because the grief is so hard on children at times, and they're just not able to process as adults.
Now, there are things we as parents can do to help children better understand what is happening. Number 1, create a supportive environment where they feel safe to ask questions. Number 2, be ready to repeat information. Kids may need to hear it more than once. And number 3, more importantly, be honest and transparent in your responses.
If they hear directly from you, the caregiver or parent, that increases their sense of safety.
And it's not just children who may need help. McKinnon says first responders, volunteers, and others close to the tragedy may not feel the effects of trauma right away. but getting support even later is vital. The main message, we all need to take care of ourselves.
We are experiencing this collective drama just by watching everything and the tragedy that a lot of families are going through. And so it's important that we also take care of ourselves and seek help.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
All right, well, here's today's 9 at 9. The Alamo Area Council of Government made an Amazon wish list for the flood victims, and you can donate a range of items to send from essentials like water to protein bars and even socks.
And several places are giving monetary donations. If you want to help, you can give to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund, the Salvation Army, and others.
The Southern Oaks Church in Kerrville says you can give them food and clothing if you've already bought it. However, they are asking for future donations to focus on gift cards for stores like Walmart and H-E-B.
Absolutely, and want to volunteer? Well, the city manager says that they're not quite ready for the amount of volunteers just yet, but they will need volunteers in the near future, so continue to check back with them.
And OK Tours is taking essential items to Kerrville on Thursday, so you can drop off donations like canned food, water, and other toiletries at the location on 725 Austin Street.
And a portion of this weekend's Fiesta Noche del Rio proceeds will go to assist families for flood relief. All you need to do is buy a ticket and attend a performance at the Arneson River Theater.
Well, and do you like jewelry? Kendra Scott says 100% of their sales from their Everline bracelet will go towards the Hill Country flood victims and also their families.
And you can also give back while enjoying some delicious meals. Places like Pluckers, Texas Roadhouse, and Bubba's 33 are donating a portion of their profits back on certain days to help Kerr County.
Well, officials say the best way that you can help flood victims is by not interfering. So personal rescue efforts are flying unauthorized drones is not helpful and can create a dangerous situation for those first responders out there.
And that's a look at today's 9 at 9. And speaking of ways that you can give back, this devastation has triggered the call to action across our country.
Well, the nonprofit God's Pit crew out of Danville, Virginia, known to help in catastrophic events such as this one, they are sending volunteers and supplies to help flood survivors in Kerr County. So 2 tractor trailers of blessing buckets filled with essential items are being distributed by local partners and local churches.
Our hearts, our prayers are with all of our friends there impacted in Texas. Texas goes through a lot. This is not our first time responding out there, and this is so devastating. We just want them to know that we are coming. Hope is on the way.
And you see help and also giving some folks some hope there. Up to 50 volunteers will soon help with debris removal and cleanup. God's Pit crew also sent special play pails to children affected by the flooding. And as first responders continue to do some extraordinary work out there, they are asking that people not intervene with those recovery efforts. And we're going to show you an example of why. The Kerr County Sheriff's Office posted this message on Facebook saying that a private drone that was flying in a restricted airspace collided with a helicopter that was involved in emergency operations.
So that helicopter had to make an emergency landing and is now out of commission for the time being. So the post goes on to say, the quote, "Please keep your drones grounded in Kerr County. This is not a suggestion. It is vital to keeping people and equipment safe," end quote. Taking a live look where our Patty Santos is out right now in Ingram.
Yeah, and you just see that trees uprooted there. A bunch of devastation debris out there. Search and recovery efforts continue as the day gets started on this Tuesday. And as we head to break, we know the latest numbers, obviously staggering numbers here. 90 people confirmed dead as a result of the flooding from 4th of July in the Hill Country. That number likely to rise as search and rescue operations continue.
Well, besides the 90 combined deaths in Kerr and Kendall County, there are at least 10 more people who have died in the flooding in other counties, including 5 in Travis County, which is why you may be hearing some conflicting numbers out there.
And we want to shine a light on the people who have lost their lives in the flood. If you have a chance, take a look at your screen. These are the images and some of the names of the victims that we have so far.
Well, these people were sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, and moms and dads, and now the silence of them being gone is leaving a hole in many, many lives. Welcome back. It is 9:16. Well, they are highly trained and here on a mission. So we're hearing directly from one of the leaders of Fundación 911, Mexico's elite volunteer rescue team, now in Kerr County.
KPRC2's Ricky Munoz from our sister station in Houston is in Ingram this morning with a behind-the-scenes look at their work and the hope that they are holding on to. Good morning, Ricky.
Good morning, and yes, Jesus Gomez is part of Fundación 911, a rescue team from Acuña, Mexico. He's been in rescue teams in the U.S., Mexico, and other countries, and today he's here at the Hill Country going through flood debris, one side at a time. Fundación 911, or the 911 Foundation in English, isn't just a fire crew. They're a full-scale rescue force trained to respond anywhere they're needed.
We have a lot of training. We have traveled to here, United States, Texas, Mexico, firefighting, swift water rescue techs, rope rescue, confined space, hazmat, you name it. We're pretty much urban search and rescue. We do a lot of things, and we travel to different countries to train too.
This week, it's been the Guadalupe River, but for Gomez, each mission carries a different weight, especially when the resources are available here.
I want to guess that we have a lot of resources here in the United States based on different countries, right? And let's use those resources pretty much. Just work together as a team and make this happen. Special tools for search, we use our nose and hands.
It's been more than 4 days since the flood, and the crews know the clock is working against them, but that hasn't changed their focus.
Based on more than 96 hours since the flood, it's very hard, but it still have a chance. Our mission is to save more lives or help recover those bodies to close the circle for those families that are waiting for them.
The crew did say they're going to stay at the Hill Country as long as they need to stay to help out. They said they were going to come back to this site, and just for reference, this site again is used for rescue teams and victims, so they're able to come get something to eat and clean up. And they also told me that when they come back, they're going to kind of keep me in the loop of things so I can keep you updated on air and online. But for now, reporting live in Ingram, I'm Ricky Munoz, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you very much for that, Ricky. And yes, getting help from all over the states, including south of the border there in Acuña. So very interesting story there.
Yes, and then of course, like we were saying earlier, a lot of people there in Kerr County thankful to all the volunteers who have come to help out at this time.
Okay, let's check in with Justin right now because we got some rain yesterday, and looks like we might get a little bit more today.
We did, and we may. You're exactly right. And I want to show you the rainfall totals this past week. And when you look across the country, you kind of see the two bullseyes there. Obviously, Florida's gotten some good rain too. They're more used to that there. But you see where the two big, I'm going to call them bullseyes. Obviously, Central Texas has just been hit so very hard by this very, very intense rainfall. But also the Carolinas, they're dealing with some flooding too. They had the remnants of a tropical system working there. And by and large, a lot of what we saw, that really heavy rain in Kerr County, had some tropical influence as well. So this time of year, that can make a big, big difference. But pretty interesting to see. And there, you know, in summers past, we had just a big dry area over Texas, right? Because the ridge high pressure would be here and we get no rain in a week's time. This go around, we've had too much. And it is a pattern that it just keeps repeating itself. And it's so dangerous because we go from 5 years of drought to just flipping a switch, and now we're in this flooding situation. We talked a little bit about the aquifer earlier if you were watching earlier on GMSA, but I do want to mention it again because we've gotten a lot of questions about exactly why the aquifer hasn't been filling up as fast as you might expect. Well, there is the recharge zone, which stretches from roughly San Marcos through northern San Antonio over to Concan. It's a small, narrow zone, but if rain falls there, it goes directly into the aquifer, and you see the aquifer rise very, very quickly. But in this case, a lot of the heavy rain fell over the contributing zone, which still gets into the aquifer. It's just slower. It's a slower process. It kind of oozes in, seeps down into the aquifer, and it takes some time. All of that to say, those big numbers you see there will eventually affect the aquifer. It has, but it's just been more of a slow, steady rise versus if we were to get that very heavy rain in this zone here, you would have seen the aquifer rise quite a bit more. It is up nearly 4 feet. At last check, it's at 638.1. Okay, water vapor imagery. This is important. It shows the spins in the atmosphere. It shows where we have moisture moving through. There's not a lot of dry air upstairs anywhere in Texas because our heat high has been just kind of shifting around, but it's not been over us. Right now it's over the desert southwest, but it's this little swirl in the Gulf that caught my attention, and it'll be moving in. It'll throw some moisture in our direction, I think, as we get into the afternoon, which is why we have about a 30% chance of rain there. And we just rushed right past the Futurecast. Don't want to do that. This is important. So noontime shows a couple showers showing up there. And then this particular model, which has been bouncing around, but at 2 o'clock it shows more downpours forming. And then those working their way towards San Antonio by the late afternoon hours. And this is where we could see some of those heavier downpours picking up a quick ½ inch, maybe more, depending on how long they sit there. And then most of this will die down as we head into tonight. So a 20% chance of rain at 1 o'clock, 30% chance of rain by the afternoon. Your high temperature will be up around 91, and look for those rain chances to fall off tonight. They'll especially fall off as we get into Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow we still do have chances of rain, but drier days Thursday and Friday, and then some more small rain chances Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. All right, the extended forecast here. It does get fairly warm. 95 Friday. We'll be in the mid-90s this weekend with those small rain chances. And the heat index will be approaching 100 each and every day. So do please keep that in mind. It's steamy out there.
Mm-hmm. It'll be a very hot day for all of the crews out there volunteering and working and still searching.
Yes, please be safe because that heat fatigue can get to you pretty quickly.
But are they're not expected to get more rain for the time being?
I think that today it would be very isolated there in Kerrville. Tomorrow, maybe a little bit different story as that little swirl I showed you moves a little further inland. We could see a little bit more activity around Kerrville tomorrow, but we're going to be very sensitive to that. If there is any rain, anything at all, we'll certainly pass that along.
Yeah, a lot of people watching closely right now.
Yes.
Thank you, Justin.
Okay, GMSA at 9 o'clock. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's 9:27. Well, so many families are still waking up this morning waiting for the call that their loved one who was swept away by floodwaters has survived. Sadly, that is not the reality for at least 90 people, but one San Antonio woman and her brother say they're hopeful that their 77-year-old mother is still alive.
Rachel Lynn says that her mother, Miss Penny Ferguson, is spry and loves being outdoors, camping, and traveling in an RV with her husband, Bruce. The couple had been living in the HRT Texas Hill Country RV park and campground when those overnight floods took their RV downstream. Lynn, being a retired U.S. Coast Guard, and her brother, who is an active first responder, have been back and forth to Kerrville searching, but still answering the call to help.
And we've plucked people out of rooftops, attics, trees. They're just sitting on top of buildings and anything that they could get to get out of water. And a whole week has gone by and we still are rescuing people. People can survive.
And later today, we're going to hear from her brother who was down for vacation and who sadly and hopelessly watched his parents get swept away before his very eyes. Well, in the meantime, if you have seen this woman, you can please call that number on your screen. That is 830-258-1111.
Yes, some very sad stories there as we continue to get more information on some of the victims. This is a live look at Ingram as we have some crews that are continuing to pick up debris out there. Patty Santos is live covering the very latest. She was actually at the Blue Oak, the RV park out there, which was hit pretty hard during that flooding on July 4th, Steph.
Yes, and then, of course, you see that the search and recovery efforts continue as the day gets started. This is day 5 for all the crews to be out there.
Yeah, we're going to continue with Good Morning San Antonio at 9 o'clock and get you ready for a press conference coming up at 10 o'clock. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Good Morning San Antonio at 9 o'clock. Some difficult images there as we continue to gather more information on some of the victims from the Hill Country flooding. We're expected to get more information coming up here in less than 30 minutes. Press conference at 10 o'clock, as has kind of been the case with officials in Kerr County. But Patty Santos has also been out in the Hill Country this morning.
Yes, Patty Santos has been in Ingram this morning, and she was earlier at an RV park where a lot of campers were caught by surprise. And today, continuing to see some of the people searching out there near the Guadalupe. Patty.
Good morning, guys, and we really want to give you a perspective of what this looks like. It is almost impossible to do that, but I want to stand here because this was an area that was covered in water. I mean, I'm about 5'5". I'm standing next to this tree as closely as I can, but you could see all the way up the siding of the tree that has been scraped off, the limbs that have been scraped off. It is about 40 feet up to where some of that debris has been knocked down. So all of this area was covered not only with water, but with cars, with trees, with homes that were stuck here. This is an area that actually has a lot of trees into it, so a lot of that debris was stuck here. So crews are still out here taking a look at the damage, taking a look at what they're finding here, some of the clues that give us maybe some perspective on what happened. We're also seeing some of the crews that are cleaning up. They're taking some of this debris away from here, and this crew right here is actually building a dam. Now, as we show you all of these images, we also think about the families that are mourning, the friends that are mourning. The owner here of the Blue Oak RV Park, she tells me, you know, she had friends, people that were camping here that she lost. Take a listen.
They were my family. I mean, I saw them every single day. I, joke around, celebrated birthdays together. I'm just one tiny, tiny little speck among the entire devastation.
And this right here is just one tiny example of the devastation that has taken place, the work that is taking place, and also the emotions that are happening in this community. So continue to stay with KSAT, of course, as we bring you the very latest here in about 30 minutes, as we expect the death toll from this devastation to rise. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Patty, out there in Ingram for us this morning. Well, upgrading the flood warning system in Kerr County has been discussed for the last decade, if not longer. Now, back in 2016, Kerr County commissioners discussed a proposal from the Kerr County Sheriff Rusty Hierholzer to spend $1 million in upgrades, including installing flood sirens loud enough to alarm people within 3 miles of the flood gauge. That proposal, though, did not move forward, and Kerr County commissioners decided that they would stick with a river calling system, which at the time they believed would be better.
So that system includes the summer camp sites calling one another in a phone chain to warn of potential dangers along the river. So the 2016 minutes from that county commissioners meeting specify that Kerr County commissioners tried getting funding for some improvements through a FEMA grant. However, their application was not selected.
And we just posted that story on KSAT.com if you want to go back and get a little bit more information on that. Taking a look at live cam across the city of San Antonio. Seeing a little bit of clouds out there, but the sun has poked out. Justin, how are we looking?
Yeah, the sun is out and it is warming up. We're going to see temperatures climb through the 80s here over the next hour. Heat indices will be nearing 90 probably by the time we get to 10:30 or 11 this morning. I want to show you a picture. Again, I've been saying through all the devastation, there is some beauty here. This was a double rainbow. Laura caught this yesterday. Beautiful sight there with some rain coming down in and around. That was the Lido area. So in and around San Antonio, there were some showers and downpours yesterday. Here's a look at the radar this morning. And we're still seeing a few showers as it stands right now. Very, very light stuff east of San Antonio. But as the day wears on, we likely will see some pop-up downpours make it onto authority radar. And it really could be anywhere. With that said, I think the best odds are going to be east of I-35 this afternoon. And we showed you this earlier. There's a look at the two places in the country that have been hit really hard by heavy rainfall. And you can see Central Texas is certainly one of those. So coming up, we are going to discuss the difference between a watch and a warning as promised, and that played a role in all of this devastation near Kerr County. We'll discuss it here in just a few minutes, guys.
And taking a quick look here at your traffic authority, it's right there, a shot of 410 and another shot here at the San Antonio International Airport. Earlier, we had reports of a crash over at 410 North by Medina Base Road, but it looks like that may actually be clearing out. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the roads and see how things are looking as we give you one more shot across the city of San Antonio on this Tuesday morning.
Well, more than 100 people safely made it out of the river inn along the banks of the Guadalupe in Hunt after it took on water early Friday morning.
So this is about a mile from Camp Mystic. We've been talking a lot about that campsite. 130 plus people were saved here, and in fact, bed sheets were used to help in some rescues.
Dylan Collier spent the day there speaking with survivors and a couple being hailed as heroes, and has this story for us.
On the south shore of the Guadalupe River, this is what's left of the River Inn Resort and Conference Center. This line, a clear reminder that walls and doors were no match for the raging floodwaters early Friday. Connie Towery and her husband Scott have lived on property for 5 years. Connie awoke before 2 a.m. and knew this storm was different.
It was like if you were standing underneath a waterfall and it's just going straight over.
Connie, Scott, and the property's owner went door to door, waking up around 130 people staying in the resort's 60 rooms.
Beat on doors, got people out, and told them to load and go.
Some literally ran for the hills.
And that's when we knew, oh no, we can't get up the hill anymore.
While up to 50 people were blocked by the rising waters and had to seek refuge on the roof of the Mill House, a two-story structure at the back of the property. Bed sheets were used like rescue ropes to pull victims to a rooftop safe haven. Scott's legs battered by debris while lifting others out of harm's way.
In the background, you could hear this intense train of water.
For Good Morning San Antonio, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
And we are told one person who was staying at that resort, a woman, was swept away and is unaccounted for.
An engineer telling us that they will survey the buildings at the River Inn at the next couple of days or so, and then a decision will be made on what to do with that facility next. Well, this morning, more deaths to report following the Hill Country floods. It continues to be a very tragic situation.
All right, now the latest numbers are 90 people. This is confirmed dead as a result of that flooding in the Hill Country, and that number likely to rise as those search and rescue operations continue.
And besides the 90 combined deaths in Kerr and Kendall County, there are at least 10 more people that have died in flooding in other counties, including 5 up the road in Travis County, which is why you might be hearing some conflicting numbers overall.
And we want to shine a light on the people who lost their lives in the flood. So these are some of the images and names of the victims that we have so far.
These people were sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, and moms and dads, and we're hearing stories about grandparents as well. And now the silence of them being gone has left a huge hole in the lives of many, many of our neighbors in the Hill Country.
Well, welcome back. It's 9:45, and of the dozens still missing in the Texas Hill Country is a man who arguably spent more time on the river than anyone else.
His name is Ron Duke, and he owns a mountain sports store and lives by the motto, "There's no such a thing as a bad day to kayak."
Well, Gage Golding from our sister station KPRC in Hunt, Texas, as a frantic search for Ron continues.
Ron Duke is an 80-year-old preservationist. He's a Vietnam veteran. He worked at a sporting goods company that his family owned in Houston, Texas. He was a true naturalist. There was never a day that you could not go kayaking.
Ron Duke, 80 years young, lives life Ron's way.
He never knew a stranger.
Never knew a stranger.
Hunt, Texas is a small town. Everyone knows one another here. Ron owns a mountain sports store. He built it not just to be a part of the community, he wants people to feel at home, his home.
And so it was like an open air shop. There were no doors. You could just come in and talk. He wasn't worried about money.
Nope.
He was here for the fun of it.
Yeah.
This is what remains. Just wood piled up. No kayaks, just a paddle.
While there's still a little bit of a remnant of his shop and store, his house on the other side of the street, we can't say the same. Just on the other side of where this brush is where Ron likely was when these raging floodwaters came through Hunt. Not even a speck of his house remains.
We're standing in Ron's home, what would have been his home. But imagine it 30 feet higher.
The flash flooding washing away any trace that someone lives here, including Ron. He was sleeping here when the raging Guadalupe River swept through here Friday morning. And that's the eerie part.
His most loved and treasured thing in the world, he fought for the river.
Strange that it would be the river, something that he cared so deeply about, that would
ultimately take him.
Isn't that peaceful though also?
That the thing he loved so much, he went to be with it.
Is that how you look at it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can have peace.
At this point in the story, you might be thinking that Cynthia and her daughter Nicole are Ron's family.
Flipped upside down.
That's not the case. They're friends who are as close as family because that's just who Ron is. A friend that anyone would be lucky to have.
We're grateful that he was friends with my dad for so long.
And I believe in God. I believe he's merciful, you know. And if Ron didn't make it, I just hope and pray that it was very fast.
Reporting in Hunt, Texas, Gage Golding.
And we are seeing several stories like that, not only the loss of life, but loss of property for a lot of folks that made their livelihoods right there and truly, truly love being out there at the Guadalupe River.
Yeah, a lot of people dealing with that, with the devastation of property, and then a lot of people, like you see right there, still having hope, even though this is day 5, still having hope that maybe, possibly, you know, a miracle that their loved ones will still be found today.
Okay, let's go to Justin right now with a check of the weather today, Justin. And I know a lot of folks paying attention to everything that's going on outside.
Yeah, and you know, we're still sending out prayers because, you know, miracles can happen. We sure do hope that will be the case. And just an unimaginable event. I know we've talked about it a lot. And you may have heard Sarah talk about this yesterday, but we want to pass it along one more time because we're getting a lot of questions about flood watches versus flood warnings. What did it mean? When did the warnings come out? But in a very basic sense, a watch means flooding is possible. This was what was issued the day before these floodwaters hit. The exact location is usually to be determined. It's usually a large area, several counties, and it just means you need to be prepared, have a way to get warnings. Then there is the flash flood warning or flood warning, and that means it is happening right now. Your exact location is known. We're talking, the Weather Service can put out warnings that are literally down the street level, but usually on county level. And it means you need to take action, stay off the roads and seek higher ground. And in this case, we did have some warnings, but we don't know that everyone actually received them. And that's a whole nother issue. When it comes to making sure your alerts are enabled on your phone, or if there was cell service. We talked a little bit about weather radios, always good to have around, and the flood siren debate will go on. But anyway, we wanted to talk a little bit about the watch versus warning, just to make sure that that information is out there. And as we look at the visible satellite picture this afternoon, or this morning, I should say, we've got plenty of clouds here around San Antonio, not a lot of rain. We've noticed a couple of small showers just east of San Antonio, but other than that, it is rain free for now. But the setup is such that we may get some more downpours today. 81 degrees right now, southwest-southwesterly winds at 9. Feels like 86. I mean, New Braunfels already feels like 90. This is the other side of the forecast we haven't talked a lot about, but these feels like numbers are only going to grow. And I think we'll see some feels like numbers near 100 today, even though those air temperatures may only be in the low 90s. And it's just so humid that that lends itself to those big feels like numbers. Futurecast. Okay, so noontime does want to develop some showers and storms closer to the coast, and then by 2 o'clock you'll see quite a bit more activity, I think, just east of I-35, and then that will spread further inland. Now, I know this looks like we're going to get a ton of rain here in San Antonio. Just like I said yesterday, you can't look at this too closely. These models are not great in these kind of situations. It's not to say that we're going to get development right over the city, but it gets the idea across that we could see some scattered showers and downpours, some of which could put down some decent rain. quick half-inch of rain, certainly not out of the question. And in pockets, like yesterday, we could see 1 to 2 inches. We do not expect a lot of flooding, but if that were to happen, we will certainly be the first to let you know. 20% chance at 1 o'clock, 30% chance 2, 3, 4 o'clock. High temperatures will be around 91 today. We'll keep that 30% chance going through, I'd say roughly 8 and 9 o'clock. And then after that, once the sun goes down, you see these rain chances start to go away. Here's what lies ahead. So this little area of low pressure we showed you earlier, it swings inland, and that's one of the reasons we have rain chances today and tomorrow, because it's still bringing in some of that moisture. And by the way, what we're looking at here is upper level moisture. So where you see the green color, there's good moisture kind of stacked up to the atmosphere, and that oftentimes can give us some decent chances for rain. But as that moves west, we're actually going to get some drier conditions starting to work in by Thursday and especially by Friday. And this is a more stable environment and should take rain out of the picture. So we will get a chance to dry out for sure as we get into Thursday and Friday. But the rain that we've received so far, and by the way, we didn't get rain at the airport yesterday, but many parts of San Antonio did. We are at 20.04 inches for the year, and we are still 3 inches above average. But that's just at the San Antonio International Airport. Obviously, there are spots that have received much, much more than that. 92 tomorrow, 30% chance of rain Wednesday, drier conditions Thursday, Friday, and we still get some of those small chances Saturday, Sunday, Monday, with some hot and humid conditions.
Yeah, you could feel the humidity out there for sure once you step outside.
It is thick.
Yeah,
everything.
I did get rain over by my place though yesterday. That was nice.
I
A little
know.
bit of cool down.
Need to get you a rain gauge.
So you can start
That's true.
measuring how much. Yes. Well, we're going to go ahead and check in with our friends at SA Live. They have a show coming up today.
Hey guys, good morning. Well, you guys, local businesses are helping out and stepping up in such a big way, and I have two of them here. One of which is Christy from SA Pets Alive. She actually has the most adorable little baby here. This is Dim, right?
Yes.
Okay, Dim is literally about to make me take him home because he is just so cute. But look, he's actually very savvy. He's only 3 months. But here, let's see. Sit for us, Dim. Sit. Show him what you can do. Here, you know what? You're just too cute. You'll see his skills later on in the show, but we also have Parlor Donuts here. They have layered donuts. We are going to be tasting them on the show, and they too have an amazing opportunity for you guys to help support them starting tomorrow and how they will be supporting Hill Country Floods. So don't go anywhere. That's all coming up next on SA Live. See y'all soon.
Welcome back. It's 9:58, and of course we are waiting on that press conference that we told you is going to start in just a minute now at 10 a.m. in Kerrville. We're expecting an update from leaders over there just on the latest on their search and rescue efforts and just all the devastation there in Kerr County.
Yes, so Kerr County officials have been updating us with some of the information and again, some sobering numbers that we have received so far. A total of 90 dead in Kerr County and Kendall County, 84 of those in Kerr County, 6 right now confirmed in Kendall County. And as we've reported over the past couple of days, many of those unfortunate deaths have been also several children out there as well. So again, we're going to hear a little bit more from Kerr County officials coming up at 10 o'clock. And then later on today in the afternoon, Governor Greg Abbott will be back at the same location for a press conference at 5 o'clock. Where he's also going to update us on the latest from the statewide things in terms of the response and recovery efforts, not only in parts of Kerr County, Kendall County, but across the state as well.
Yes, and we're going to keep you updated online and on the air here as well. And we were talking about the numbers. So besides the 90 combined deaths in Kerr and Kendall County, there are at least 10 more people who have died in flooding in other counties, including 5 in Travis County. So they're continuing to keep us updated on the loss of life there. And we were talking about it earlier. This is day 5 of those search and recovery efforts, and so crews are still out there hoping for the best. A very tough job, not only because of the terrain, but emotionally, just knowing that they're looking for people, hopefully